Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ask Angela. I'm Angela. I'm here with assistant Laura. And today we are doing questions about The Prince and the Sea Witch, which is my latest release. Retelling of The Little Mermaid with a villainous twist. There's a lot you could say about that book, actually, just like in the
So much.
description of it, because it's a multi-author collab. But let's just jump right into the questions that you have, and I'm sure we'll hit all these things as we
Okay.
go through.
Okay. Since it is a part of your collection of stories, a collaboration with those other authors, one of the big questions is it set in the same world as the fairy tale adventure story?
The short answer is no. It was never intended to be. It was always meant to be something that is standalone, which I know many of the authors in Villains Ever After did end up setting in their world or doing something that ties in. I didn't really see a way to do that here. So we already have a Little Mermaid retelling in the fairy tale adventures. We already have like all this mermaid lore set up. That was not really what I wanted to do with Sea Witch. We have, I think we talked about this, and maybe a few other people. If you really, really want the connection, you can imagine it as like a prequel, um, where the mermaids are quite different, and then their magic changes over time because of some things that happen. But it was not intended to be. But if you really want it to be, I'm not going to stop you. Um, that's the long answer.
Okay. I like that headcanon. We can stick with that for the headcanon
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That
Head canon, do whatever you want.
long time ago, far, far away. No.
Yeah, exactly. Far off island, because they are,
Right.
off on an island nation. It's, we have a map of fairy tale adventures, but it doesn't cover the whole world. So
Right. It's just the other side.
yeah, you can put it in there if you want.
Do you think that you might revisit these characters or that location in future books or any series
Um,
spin-offs?
I don't have any plans to right now. We kind of left it. Well, I was gonna say we left everybody in a good spot. That's not true. There's like
There's a lot there.
a whole lot of mermaids that, spoilers, sorry, that have been
Right.
left in not the best spot. So, yeah, it's not true we've left everyone in a good spot, but we've left the main characters in a good spot.
Mhm.
One of my things about doing like follow-ups is a story needs conflict, right? A story needs things to go wrong. So when you've given someone that happily ever after, if you want to do another story, you have to kind of mess up the happily ever after a little
Yes.
bit. You have to introduce more
Yes.
problems. And so I would prefer to imagine they don't run into that many more problems.
Yes. Those big Disney sequels, I just often don't like them because it's just disruptive. It's just not
Yeah, so you've either got to mess it up or you're going to end up with like a pretty weak story where like
right.
not that much is happening, and like I'm not willing to do either of those right now with this.
Right.
So, not really any plans to revisit.
Okay.
I'm just shooting everything down, I feel like. Sorry.
You
Like,
are.
no,
No, no,
not
no.
connected. There won't be a sequel.
Not happening. Leave me alone. Let me write my story. Well, what you have written, of course, as you said, it was based upon Andersen's Little
Mhm.
Mermaid, and you already had done so.
Yeah.
The Princess of Mermaids was also based on that, and you've done that with short stories too.
Yeah.
Several of your full-length novels are based upon stories that you also wrote short stories based upon.
Mhm.
So the question is it challenging to do second retellings or third retell, multiple retellings of the same fairy tale?
Yeah. Who can say how many we'll end up with, right?
Yes.
I'm not willing to put a number on it. I find it much easier because there's this initial research process, even if it's
Mhm.
a story you know well. So right now I'm doing Cinderella. I've retold Cinderella before. I'm writing Princess of Mirrors, which is going to be a novel. There's the
No, make
gown.
that a little wider there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna run out of room on the video screen here. Gosh. But
I've got lots of room on
yeah,
my shelf.
we're gonna need a good chunk of that shelf for mirrors. But then a gown of spider silk is quite short.
Right.
So I didn't do much preliminary research for a gown of spider silk actually, but for Princess of Mirrors and any of the novels, there's a lot of research that goes into it.
Mm.
Some of these fairy tales have multiple versions.
Right.
Cinderella is one of them. There's some version of this story across so many different cultures. You have, different ways the dress and the shoes come about. Is it a fairy
Right.
godmother? Is it a magic tree? Is it like some kind of
Right.
trickery? There's all these different things. And so I like to sort through that. As I'm writing this story, I sort through like the pop culture around it, you know,
Right.
regardless of what actually is in the story, what do people think of when they think of the story?
Yes.
I'm sorting through like my preconceptions of it, and then
Hmm.
I'm really looking for like a deeper theme. Um, what is the story actually about? What
Right.
why is it resonating and why is it resonating with me? And so it's by the time you do all that, this is like a few months of work before we've written a word on anything. And so it to come back to a story that you've already done that for and retell it again, so much easier. It's so nice. So like with Sea Witch, I had already like I was really interested in the character of the Sea Witch.
Right.
Honestly, because
Obviously.
yeah, it worked. But it Sea Witch, that was not my original like I'm gonna retell the Little Mermaid when we were talking about Villains Ever After. Because I just finished Princess of Mermaids and I was like, no, not again. But the Sea Witch is an interesting character. She's not a villain per se in the original. We all
Right.
have this picture of Ursula, who's this really, really fun, dynamic character. But in the original, I just see the Sea Witch like she's hanging out in her house. People come and ask her for things, and she's like just kind of this cranky lady. Like, no, like you don't need that. That's stupid. Why would you want that? But if you really want it, like I'll give it to you, I guess. That's really her attitude in it. So like it's fun, and there's not like so much that character in Princess of Mermaids.
Oh, right.
So we have a lot of other mermaids. There's a lot of dynamics going on, but there's not really like the Sea Witch. So to come back to it, I had all these ideas for a Sea Witch that I could put in.
That works
Um,
well.
and then I really wanted to put a seal into Princess of
Yes.
Mermaids as well. Like, and then we already had the seagull. We already had so much going on. Like, we really didn't need a seal as well. And so I was really excited to put Pup in.
And we're so
Like,
glad you did.
yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I get to use the seal. I get to use, all my ideas for the Sea Witch. I had a few other ideas that had to kind of get scrapped because it's a novella, so there's only a few
Right.
things, only so much you can do. And then playing around with that idea of a soul, because that's like really central to Andersen's
Yes.
story, is this idea of an immortal soul.
Mm-hmm.
And like the mermaid wants that as much as she wants to be human.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that just fit beautifully. So long way to answer the question. I find it a lot easier to retell the same story because usually I've had ideas that didn't work. I've already done a lot of background research and explored the themes.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I can just kind of go.
Well, we are glad that you did
Yeah, thank you.
because it worked very, very well. I am very excited.
Is that
Sorry,
Obi or is that Rolly barking?
that would be Rolly.
Aw, thank you, Rolly. Rolly is a pug, for those of you
Yes.
who heard just a
Yes.
little
He's
bark.
a 13-year-old pug dog, and I am his emotional support person. And he's not been feeling real well, so
Aw.
he's not the happiest with Mama right now. He's
He's
just
like,
not
why
cuddling
are
and
you
playing.
not loving me? Like,
Exactly.
what is more
That's
important than that?
that's supposed to be my number one job, is to love on the pug dog.
Of course, yeah. I mean, what else? What else would you
What
do?
else? Yeah. What else?
All right, so I think that covers our questions for Sea Witch. As always, if anyone watching has any more questions, you can leave them in comments. You can email them to one of us. I'll put email in description, so you can.
Excellent.
Sometimes, like saying it's hard to get that figured out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll see you all around.
Excellent.
Thanks for watching, everyone.